But
You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to Quasar Markets Live. It's Hondo Howard Greenberg flying solo today. BigBeat is out at the CMT meeting, getting together with the folks from the Chartered Market Technicians. So you're stuck with me, which means we're doing this more like a trading desk, fast, clean, and focused today. It is Thursday, January 8th, and we've had a hot start to the year so far. We are cooling off a little bit, and that's healthy. The key question is whether this is a digestion day or is the market starting to price real uncertainty ahead of tomorrow's job reports. If we take a look at the charts to start it out, we see advanced decline coming in down about 185 right now. So muted start for sure here. And if we look at the futures markets here, we do see Dow Jones looks like it's going to open up down about 37 basis points right now, 49.056. S&P down about 13 basis points here, 69.54. And the NASDAQ 100 down about 18 basis points going into the cash market. On the side of crypto, weak as it is, Bitcoin back below 90,000 here. Definitely keeps us on the bearish side, and flows definitely looking bearish when it comes to crypto. So that early great start of the year does seem to be fading off quickly. Silver continuing to get bashed here, down another 5% back at 74 after hitting a high of 83.75 yesterday. So we're seeing a big pullback there. A lot of chatter about the re-indexing of the BCOM, the commodities index, and how that is going to affect silver. We'll get Steve in tomorrow to answer more questions about that. Global risk tone does seem a little softer overseas. We do see the Nikkei was down about 83 basis points overnight. Hong Kong's major index, the Hang Seng, down about 1.17%. And Europe fared a little bit better with the stocks finishing or right now being down about 36 basis points. And that's been moving up throughout most of the morning. Volatility is starting to perk up a little bit. We see VIX back above 15.5 here, up around 15.69, up close to 2% on the day. And we do see that oil's moving back up as things sort of settle down after, the incursion into Venezuela there. So WTI up about 1.5% and Brent oil up about 1.36%. DXY pushing right against that key resistance that Mr. Flanagan talked about yesterday here. 200-day MA simple moving average and the 50-day simple moving average right above us here. So tide does seem to be moving in the correct direction for dollar to regain its king status. Rates are going to be in the news a lot today as U.S. Secretary Bessent already spoke with CNBC. He's got a speech at 12:45, I think it is today. So watch for volatility around that time frame. He's saying that the only thing the economy needs is for rates to be lower, that everything else is on track by what the White House feels for the markets and the economy to take off. So it'll be interesting to see how that is received. Looking across the sectors of the S&P this morning, energy, like I said, catching a bid here, up about 53 basis points. We do also see a nice little move up by the industrial sector, up about 70 basis points, and then fairly flat but slightly up by communications. We do see the laggards so far today is the material sector, down about 54 basis points, and then real estate, financials, and technology all down about 25 basis points there. So that's what we're looking at so far this morning. Defense is the big name. If we look at the market gainers so far this morning, AVAV, Kratos, ONDS, all LHX, LMT, HIIs, all of them, RTX, FLY, all moving up nicely. And it's been a crazy one when it comes to this defense sector, right? Trump first floated the idea that no buybacks, no dividends until production improves rhetoric, had the market down yesterday. And then he came back and floated the idea of a $1.5 trillion defense budget for 2027. So the market is really focused more on that spend number. As I said, LMT, NOC, RTX, Kratos, you name it, they're moving up. I will remind everyone, this is a policy headline risk. The direction is supportive, but, implementation details matter, timelines, procurement, margin, labor constraints, and potential restrictions on capital returns. So I am more, not necessarily on the cash open, but I am definitely keeping an eye on the defense sector this morning. We'll see how it plays out here, but that is definitely going to be in part of there. We'll warn that tomorrow could be a pretty volatile day. We've got a few things going on. The Supreme Court is expected to issue its ruling on the tariffs. So, that could be the major news tomorrow, along with the non-farm payrolls. If the tariffs are struck down, estimates for potential refunds are huge. And even if refunds take time, the expectations alone there can move sectors like retail and import-heavy names. Will be interesting too. Keep your eyes on some of the tech names today, as I've mentioned in the past or this week. CES is still going on, which is the Consumer electronic conference in Las Vegas. It's still pushing the AI narrative. We know NVIDIA's CEO gave investors a boost with commenting, pointing towards a strong demand and product momentum. The China angle is being played up, but that really is the lever. There's reporting that China could allow select purchases now of NVIDIA's H200 for commercial uses with restrictions. And Reuters has also reported unusual purchase terms like upfront payment for some buyers. That's why this NVIDIA sentiment keeps swinging. So keep an eye there for that. On laggards today, a lot of the metal companies or miners, as you can imagine, with gold and silver being down. SSRM down about 2% here. Newmont down 2.26. USAR, PPTA, some of the mining names definitely getting hit here this morning. We do also see Magenta, after an analyst cut, is down about 7% today. And Logitech International, again, after they released some forward guidance, down about 4.84%. So markets got a little bit of volatility. We do see some of the AI crypto adjacent names definitely getting hit as Bitcoin's been unable to hold above that key $90,000 range so far. We'll see how that plays out at the cash open. Also, we are about 15 minutes into the trade. Well, not into the trading day, into the show. I'm going to take a quick 30-second commercial here while I get a quick drink.
You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today, your edge when investing.
Okay, welcome back. Let's start to take a look through the Mag 7 here. Take a look at the charts, what we have, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. NVIDIA holding up after gaining a 1 percentage point yesterday, nicely using the 10 EMA 50 SMA as some support here. Stay above that level, and it's still a green light. Anything above 186.79 or so keeps me bullish on NVIDIA, although it's trying to make a break right now to the downside. So maybe not. We'll see what we get here as we get into the open. Other news in the Mag 7, Google having another strong day, up 2.51% yesterday, up another 1.76%, playing off the AI narrative. And I will point out their market cap has now exceeded the market cap of Apple, 3.89 trillion to Apple's 3.85. So I need to change my ranking there and put Google up a spot by market cap. Amazon continues in that AI theme we just talked about, moving to the upside, up about 64 basis points after a green day yesterday. On the other side, Meta still unable to get anything going over the past several days, riding that 50-day MA straight down so far. It is acting as support, but it is a declining number that it's following there. So keep your eyes on Meta here, coming up on a key level of support in that 643 area that I'm watching very closely today. Tesla, I don't know if Steve is still long Tesla or not, but down another almost full percentage point this morning after dropping another 1.56% yesterday. Part of that has to be, and we'll look at the other side of this, is what's going on with Ford today, as Ford announced that they will be launching an autonomous driving vehicle. They're up about a half a percentage point this morning. They're going to have hands-free driving on a $30,000 EV in 2027. So nice little move to the upside here by Ford. And quite honestly, Ford trying to break to all-time highs here. $13.99 would get it there. So keep an eye there. Other names I'm watching today, Some of the breakout stars, AFRM, a firm looking like it's trying to break out with room all the way to 92 and change here. And you could even see a challenge 99 if it continues to break to the upside. Got to keep your eye also on block, making a breakout move here over the last few days. Any kind of move here above the 72.22 would be the green light to the upside for sure. Those were the big breakout names that way that I'm keeping an eye on. From a crypto side, like I said, Bitcoin unable to hold 90,000. Now keeps us range bound. So we were hoping to break through, get a break out of this green zone to the upside. We never did. What does that mean? We're back to, the trading philosophy of 86 is where you start to look for a buy the dip opportunity, and you're starting to fade out at 92 to 94 out of that trade and going short at that point. So we're back still into that range bound trade. Ethereum trying to hold 3,000 here. That is really the key. 3024 to 3,000 is your key support below you. It's where the 50 SMA is. It's a key fib level. But again, we do see a cooling off across the crypto area. And I will mention too, if you take a look, the setups on most of them from a derivative standpoint have turned from positive to negative. What I mean there is we are seeing the long short ratio that had gotten close to neutral moving back up to 3-1. So retail is going long here, and then they're just getting picked off by the institutions. And we see about 128 million in long liquidations last 24 hours on Bitcoin versus 7 million. So I would be wary the path of least resistance based on the perpetual future setup right now is to the downside. Keep an eye for these long short ratios to change. And if you get into some of the alts, it gets even, more skewed where Solana, about 3.5 to 1 longs to short positions. And again, a 17 to 1 ratio of longs liquidated to short. So folks are, there is still a large swath of retail that has gone back bullish since the beginning of the year. And they're getting picked off like they did towards the end of last year. So keep your eye open there. Decker Outdoors, actually nice little rebound here this morning, had really dropped back down again, was negative after having a down day yesterday after their forward guidance came out and analyst downgrade. But they do seem to be kind of stabilizing so far right now. We'll point out a couple of the names that I've been talking about so far for my 2026 narrative. Having good days here. APLD off of strong earnings yesterday, up about 5.35%. ONDS, which had a rough day yesterday, another one of my 2026 plays, up about 9% today on those defense news, and at an all trying to it will open at an all-time high 1330. So again, some of the names that I've been talking about lately, Kratos, another one that I've been talking about since it dropped down up around an 8.65 today. So if you've been listening to us here, Fly, another one of my core holdings, as you know, up about 4.97% today, moving up. Talked about Palantir yesterday with Steve. I'm a big fan there. That's having a nice day today, up about 2.35%. So we are seeing some of the names that we've been talking about continue to move to the upside. Trying to see here. Tick's pretty muted going into the open. We're 10 minutes from the open here. Advanced decline continuing to slide slowly to the downside. Costco, nice move to the upside here, up about 2% today That was one Steve brought up yesterday. Nice little move to the upside. Regain the 50-day MA here. Could be one to keep an eye on. Seeing what else is moving here in the early morning. Most of them we've already hit on here. Those are the big ones that are moving so far today. Keep an eye, those of you, MLTX, anybody that's in a penny pumper MLTX, watch for for them to probably do a share offering here on this big move up. So these are the type of moves usually that result in a share offering announcement. So keep an eye on that on MTLX today, Moonlight. We'll say keep an eye on MNTS today also. MNTS penny pumper that looks like it wants to move to the upside here. This morning did about 41% yesterday, up another 7.84 in the pre-market here. Let's see if anything else is moving into the needle here. All the defense names are leading, like we said, EV, AV, ONDS, Kratos, NOC, LMT, LHX, APLD, almost all of them in that sector, or that would be helped by the defense announcement there. Take a look if any of the laggards have changed. Not really, same names are still there. We are about 3 minutes from the open here. Be interesting. Keep your eyes on VIX today for sure. I know we always do anyways, but you know, when you take into account you got big employment numbers tomorrow, you have possible Supreme Court ruling on the tariffs. There is a lot that could hit tomorrow. So keep an eye. That VIX will give you an insight on that. We are 5 minutes from the open here. Let's take a quick break here. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and we're ready to go here. 3 minutes from the open. Give you a little bit of a quick recap before we get going here. The big macro driver today is geopolitics. Trump administration seizing more tankers, two yesterday, one Russian flagged after a weeks long Atlantic chase. U.S. now fully controlling Venezuelan crude sales to the world market. The energy secretary says uh, will flood with stored oil first. Refiners like Valero and Marathon have been popping earlier this week on that news. It's huge. It's risk on for defense, risk off for everything else so far this morning. CES 2026 is still buzzing a little bit. AI chips are strong. NVIDIA's optimism on the China allowing H200 imports, but Apple down pre-market on JP Morgan taking over their credit card business and delayed Siri AI upgrades. Tech's definitely not dead, but it is being selective right now. On the earnings front today, keep an eye on RPM, SNX, Acady Brands, Commercial Metals, Simply Good Foods. So quick beats and misses could move the small caps. Globus Medical, GMED, I believe is the symbol there. Up about 10% here this morning on their news of an earnings beat. So we will keep an eye there. You know, defense names are definitely going to be the key thing we're keeping an eye on. Also this morning, as we get ready for the open, we are seeing advanced decline now continue to fall further to the downside. So we are seeing, as we are getting ready for the cash open, the market does seem to be sliding to the downside. And that does follow what we saw overseas overnight, where the Nikkei, the Hong Kong index, and the stocks in Europe were all reported losses for their trading sessions. We see a pullback across commodities. Silver down about 5%, copper 5.5%, gold holding a little bit more steady, down about 64 basis points. Bitcoin down 2% and Ethereum down almost 3% from yesterday. The winners on the commodity side so far are oil and gas, with WTI up about 1.5% and Brent crude up 1.41%. We are open here. Let's get to the Qs, see what they look like right on the open here. Trading at 623.30, so nice little pop off the algos to start off the cash market. Let's see if it does follow that way. I want to keep an eye on the mag here. I want to see if Google does make the breakout right off the open here. That's one that trying to break to all-time highs again. Already did 330.55, so move to the upside there to start off with. Now seeing a little bit of a sell-off. Take a quick glance at my portfolio here. Make sure nothing crazy is happening. No, pretty muted. Amazon seeing some strength here this morning. That's the one in the mag that seems to be moving to the upside. Wow, Tesla down another 1.38% and continue to slide to the downside here. So I'm not sure if BigBeat closed that long out yet, but it is not looking too strong for Tesla here, continuing to slide to the downside. We do see again Google and Amazon, the two winners so far, but even they're looking weak. Tick is negative in advanced decline, popped down to negative 2,000 on the open. So again, we are seeing a little bit of profit taking, a little bit of weakness here in the market. VIX did pop up here to 1567, so a little pop into volatility. Dow Jones is down 42 basis points, threatened to break back below 49,000. The S&P down about 15 basis points so far, and the NASDAQ 100 down about 20 basis points. Bitcoin continuing to slide, first move to the downside, not surprising there as there's outflows from the ETFs coming in this morning. Ethereum holding up above that key 3,000 support. Take a look at the early morning runners. AVAV, Kratos continuing to move to the upside. ONDS back up 12.4%. Did get an all-time, well, got just below 1408 is the all-time high. Let's see what it can do there today. APLD, nice move to the upside, breaking out here. APLD breaking out 11.3, 11.4. Watch it. Seeing most of the defense hold up here. Palantir took a little bit of a breather. Still up 1.6%, but off of those highs back at 184.58. Watch for that to move to the upside today. See if any of the laggards are bouncing back. ICLR is bouncing back a little bit. Icon. Metal names seem to be finding buyers here after the dip. See Neogen Corporation on their earnings beat up 30% here. NEOG. We do see Regenicell BioCell up another 24%. This one's up 200% this week. Again, RGC. ONDS, I talked about already at 1402 here. Moving to the upside. Applied Digital now up 13.63%. And if it can break 34 here, watch for a quick run up towards the 40 mark. We see Kratos seeing a little bit of profit taking. Nice move up, AVAV. So after that first initial sell-off, maybe by the algos, it looks like buyers are stepping back into these strong names, market recovering nicely here. We see tick is finally gone positive. Advanced decline has retraced back up half of those early morning losses. So we do see us moving back in the right direction here. With that being said, VIX continuing to move to the upside here, 15.8 continuing. Now it's popping. So VIX starting to pop. A little bit of volatility coming in here. Let's take a look at the sectors. You see energy up 1.13, so that was the early morning winner, and it's continuing here through the cash market, moving to the highs of the day. We also see the industrial sector up about 85 basis points. A lot of those are the defense stocks we've been talking about. Utility is up slightly. Consumer staples up slightly. Technology, the big laggard, so we're seeing a move to the downside there, down about 86 basis points. So tech names getting hit right now. NASDAQ trying to bounce off of the VWAP there, but not looking very strong so far. See what happens here. Same type of setup on the S&P. The Dow Jones still sliding to the downside, down 40 basis points, but trying to find a little bit of a bottom here. So market is holding up. Mag 7 not really doing much except for Google to the upside about 1 percentage point. That's a pullback from the highs of the day. You can see we hit 330.55, a new all-time high on Google before the pullback here. Amazon also had made a nice little move to the upside, hitting 244.15, now back at 242. Tesla coming off of those lows of the day and now moving back up to the upside. Okay, there we go. Will help Steve out there. Meta still having a little weak day. Does look like at that 636.50 spot, finding a little bit of support. Netflix back below 90. Steve did mention yesterday that was a spot that he liked it at, that 90 spot. Bitcoin, after getting down as low as 89.3, is bouncing back nicely here. So we are seeing some buyers step in. Ethereum a little bit more muted, sitting right about that 37.5 it was at. And Solana, which I will warn, has a lot of long interest right now, very traded on the perps there. Be careful for a flush out here. You could definitely see a move back into that 125 range if it loses any support here. Okay, everybody. I don't really have a whole bunch more going on here this morning. From Quasar Markets, have a fantastic day. We'll be back at full force tomorrow. Scott Bauer will be joining me on the show tomorrow to fill in for Steve, and I got a few other guests to bring in for you. So everybody have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow morning.